Welcome everyone to Bonifabcustom. Today we're doing some more experimenting with Damascus patterns. Let's get right into it. So my idea for making a new type of Damascus pattern, this experiment, is I want to do a cutout, say like a square or a rectangle or even a triangle into the top of the Damascus billet and then forge it down, and hopefully we're going to get that shape showing up in the pattern. Now the only way to make, or the most efficient way to make that a shape into it, is by using a CNC machine. So I have one available. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make a triangular shape into a cutout into the actual Damascus. So I'm going to program on my CAD software triangle toolpath, and I'm going to multiply that along the whole billet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to program it, I'm going to put it on my CNC machine and cut that shape out, and about 200 thou, or just shy of a 1/4 inch, into the material. So once I forge it down, we're going to still see that shape in theory onto the billet. Now before we can do that, we got to make a billet. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some 15N20 and 1095 1/16 thickness high carbon steel, and we're going to layer it. We're going to make about 20-25 layers, and we're going to forge that down and forge it out and draw it out and make a billet first. So let's do that, and then we can get into making our experimental pattern. So now I have my billet forged, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to machine the top and the bottom, or the sides of it, to take that weld off, to make sure that there's no weld on here when I start forging it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out probably 150 thou off of each side first. So now I have my billet all machined. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in my office, and I'm going to use my CAD software, and we're going to draw up the billet on the CAD program, and then we're going to use probably a 3/16 flat bottom tool, and I'll get into that, the actual programming and stuff like that, on another video. But for now, we're just going to show you a little bit about the program itself, and then we'll run the machine and make those cutouts. So after milling, I ground it down a little bit. I put it on the belt sander at about 120 grit. So nothing too smooth, but nice enough for us to check what kind of etch or what kind of pattern we have after we etch. So we can't, I actually can't see anything right now. I'm just hoping that it's that I get something on here that resembles a triangle. So let's put this in the acid and see what it looks like. So we're only gonna etch what we can in here because I do want to film it. So this is the end of the billet and this is where I cut it off. So I'm gonna put this end in at least so we can see probably a better pattern on that side. I ended up putting it into my deeper tank and we can see the triangles here, the opposite one, all the way down in the center, which is nice. So I think if I had more layers, then you would see a lot more. You would see this more distinctly, those triangles. So looks pretty good. It's not a failure. It worked out. So that means that we can machine different shapes into the Damascus, but it would probably work better with a lot more layers and then machine it in, or machine some sort of shape, maybe squares or something that you couldn't just do with a grinder. That's why I wanted to experiment with doing a shape like a triangle so you can distinctly see it in the Damascus itself. So that worked out. Now I'm just gonna probably figure out what type of blade or knife I'm gonna make with this, and that's what I'm gonna do next with this, with these blanks. Thank you everyone for watching Bonifabcustom as we made these experimental Damascus pattern with our triangular cutouts. Now next week we're going to be having another part of our giveaway. This week we ran out of time, but we're going to continue next week and we're going to be giving away a lot of these patterns to one of you subscribers. So stay tuned for that information next week, and thanks again for all your support, and don't forget to subscribe.